Did you know that some states will give a rapist parental rights because they feel that having a rapist as a father is better than not having a father at all? Well, this is what Analyn Megison had to fight to keep from happening. Welcome back to the TCL podcast, where we talk murder and all other forms of crime. I'm actually taking a break from murder today. Now, I do have a YouTube channel that you can go check out as well. I also have a Patreon that you can join as well. And by joining, you'll receive early access to episodes scheduled to come out. I also have a merch shop that you can go buy something from. For any update, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, with that being said, let's dive into today's episode here on the TCL podcast. Most of y'all know I am an advocate for sexual abuse survivors. I myself am a survivor. For the longest time, I hated the word victim. By calling myself a victim, that would be admitting that I was sexually abused. It took me a long time to get to where I'm at today. But, and Lifetime has a movie called You Can't Take My Daughter. It is a mom's fight to improve the judicial system after her rapist tries to gain custody of her daughter. It is a terrifying situation, but the scariest twist comes from the end when the viewers are informed that the film is based on a true story. Sadly, this kind of stuff happens all the time. And this movie is based off Analyn Megison. And after surviving a sexual assault which resulted in her pregnancy, Amy Thompson decided to keep her child as a testament of her strength. Her rapist, who initially denied any sexual contact, then tried to sue her for custody of her daughter. At that point, she learned that there was no law in place in her state to terminate parental rights of a rapist unless convicted in criminal court. Here's a little interesting fact. Only 5 people out of 1,000 accused of sexual violence are actually convicted. This is according to Rain. So back to the movie plotline. Thompson would tell the judge about in her case that she was going to fix the law and that's just what she did. Despite her threats of violence from her attacker, she bravely sought and won her case. The movie is ripped from the headlines and reveals the conclusion of the tale is based on a true story. Analyn Megison. So, who is Analyn Megison? Well, she is a former law student who now works at Megison is a former law graduate who now works in the financial field, and she told her Oxygen that her rapist attempted to sue her for custody of her 6-year-old daughter in 2010, which was a horrifying discovery. It would be. I don't have children. I very much enjoy being aunt, but I do have a niece and nephews that I would fight tooth and nail for if someone tried to hurt them or anybody tried to hurt them in general. But while the movie takes place in Georgia, Megison's case actually happened in Florida. And she said Florida has nothing in place, and she's referring to the laws that could terminate a father's parental rights if a child is conceived through rape. This prompted her to go straight into fight mode. And she was fighting on getting her custody battle in court, and the fight that ultimately won 2 years later, and she decided to take on a legal battle to benefit the greater good. Like her character in the movie, she told the judge that the case she was working on was going to change the law. Megison would also go on to say, I realized that if I'm going to go through this, with all that I've graduated law school, I've accomplished all these different things. And what is somebody going to do if they haven't had the same advantages that I have? I wanted to help other women. And I figured that I can't know what I know and let someone else go through this. She honestly deserves a special place in history. I might put her on my Women Making History page, Instagram page, which you can go check out. But I think I'm going to do that for real though. But Megison drafted a model law for Florida so that parental rights of rapists, could be based on clear and convincing evidence in civil court and not a conviction from a criminal court. So what is clear and convincing evidence? And, well, that means it has to prove that a particular fact is substantially more likely than not to be true. And this is according to Justia. So, it is the highest burden of proof in a civil court. So, in 2013, this law would pass a bipartisan support unanimously. And Megison was very satisfied and felt like there was hope. Now, the Rape Survivor Child Custody Act law, or RSCCA, authorizes the U.S. Attorney General to make and grant states to pass legislation determining terminating parental rights of men who father children through rape. States must use clear and convincing evidence standard, which is the predominant standard in the U.S. for termination of parental rights, to determine whether the father committed rape. This is hope. This is hope right here. But currently, so with Analyn, this law inspired the National Rape Survivor and Child Custody Act, and it passed in 2015. And the law provided financial incentives to states who pass laws which terminate parental rights of a rapist, which clearly was with clear and convincing evidence. Currently, there are 18 states that abide this act. However, there still requires a criminal conviction. Lifetime has posted several maps to show how the laws differ from state to state. And if you haven't seen You Can't Take My Daughter, I highly recommend going to watch it. But also do your own research on this case because it is very interesting. And I might be biased because I am a survivor, but yeah. But here's the hard cases. This proves love is stronger than fear. She became pregnant due to rape, and she chose to raise a child. And I'm not wanting this to start an argument on it. Please keep that in mind. This is just focusing on how her case changed the law. All it is a true crime case that needs to be discussed more often than realized. So, and she thought that she had succeeded in fighting her off her rapist, despite the fact that it was her body that was wrecked with pain and there was blood. And she said and she would also remember the smell of her own blood in that struggle to fight him off. So, and she would learn that she became pregnant from his attack, and many people would pressure her into having an abortion because she was raped. Though they called themselves pro-life, from the beginning, she had to stand up to those people, saying who would not respect her choice, and she did not want, because she wanted to raise a child in love and not be pushed into a forced adoption arrangement or starved into submission by any individual. And she was willingly followed the direction of her physician to preserve and maintain her pregnancy. And her child is worth this moment and experience. And she also goes on to say that love is stronger than ignorance. And we'll also say, but every time you look at some people will say, every time you look at your child, don't you think of being raped? Well, despite this bizarre question, she was repeatedly had to endure a rape survivor mother. The truth is that she looks at her child and how grateful she is, and she is there for love and joy of someone who is so beloved and who is absolutely wonderful. In the U.S., rape is the beginning and not the end of a battle. In particular, when some women speak about being raped, the treatment is received as often as victim blaming from misogynists in a medieval witch hunt. So, and according to the American Prosecutors Research Institute, 92 to 98% of rape allegations are true. The Their remains are expected victimizations of a rape survivor who have come forward. We need to quit blaming the victims. It is not the victims. That's the thing. And it's sad that, but it's not surprising, in the absence of legal protections for women who are mothers to these children and who chose to raise their children, some states have no legal protection at all. But there are some that do. And at the time, and at this time, it remains unknown whether any national law will be put into place to address women who are raising children conceived from rape, and also children themselves. But there is hope because children are worth it. Analyn Megison is the co-founder of Hope After Rape Conception, whose mission is to assist rape survivors, mothers, and their children. She stopped her alleged rapist from winning child custody, and she chose to keep the child, and she carried it after being raped. When her attacker demanded parental rights, she fought him in court. She soon found a way to help other women. This is what I like using your experience to help other women, other survivors in this situation. But now, Analyn Megison is with her daughter, Arla Larrabee, in Scottsdale, Arizona. And the man who Analyn Megison said violently raped her in her Baton Rouge apartment in 2003 demanded full custody of their beloved 5-year-old daughter. Her beloved 5-year-old daughter. And she will also go on to say that I didn't have time to get scared after initial shock. That I thought I'm going to have to fight like hell to keep him away from my daughter. You can't take my daughter. Megison has been fighting for herself and other women who's facing the possibility of having a co-parent. At the time, the custody petition by Megison's attacker, who said to have been prosecuted, was within his rights for custody of the child, might have been approved by Florida courts. But she persuaded the Pinellas County, Florida family court judge overseeing the case that the police reports detailed the violent behavior notes in rape crisis center that she turned to, along with medical records. Much to her relief, in 2012 the judge denied this petition and awarded sole custody of the daughter. She will go on to say, as good as it felt to win, all I could do was think about the other women out there who are going through this. She now lives in Phoenix, and she feels like she has a responsibility to them. So what did she do after she won the custody battle? Well, within months, the Florida State University College of Law graduates was using her legal training to help draft legislation and would deny parental rights of fathers without requiring criminal conviction of rape. This new law was passed by Florida state legislation. It with a bipartisan support in 2013. It shifted the burden of proof required of a mother who accuses her child's father of rape in family court. Instead of needing to prove guilt by beyond a reasonable doubt standard, used in criminal court, family court judges can now use clear and convincing evidence standard in civil cases, such as custody hearings involving child abuse. Megison would go on to tell people that it felt amazing, that I've had the chance to make something good out of what happened to me. I'm gonna cry. And she was so it gives many rape survivors their power back. The success in passing this Florida law inspired Megison to keep working to help women and state legislators around the United States. 2 years after her initial victory in Florida, the Federal Rape Survivor Child Custody Act was passed in 2015. Today, 32 other states, and most recently Arizona in 2021, have begun using the clear and convincing evidence legal standard that helped Megison win her own custody case. She would also go on to say, I've accomplished some things, but there is so much left to do. But guys, it's cases like this that need to be more known. Like, she could have easily chosen to abort the child and everything, but she chose to fight back against her rapist who wanted custody of her child. So, like I said, please be understanding, and this video was not intended to start an argument or anything like that. It's just informing you of her case and how it changed the law. Alright guys, that is it. I will try to get more episodes up. I am starting school back, so it's going to be a bit difficult, but there are scheduled episodes set to come out.